Hi, YouTube. Today's topic is warring with yourself and what that means to war with yourself. But before we get into today's topic, welcome to my channel, Oh Daffy. I'm your host, Daffy. And here I talk about things that is about betterment of self and understanding the intricacies to changing yourself. So when I say you are warring with yourself, anytime you want to make a big change in your life, anytime you want to do something differently that you feel as though is going to positively benefit you, you have to war with yourself every single time. And depending on how big the change is, depends on how big the war is going to be. And what I mean by you're going to be warring with yourself is, like literally go to war with yourself, is the bad habits and the bad behaviors that you were exhibiting, that you were doing while you were in your life. You have to now say no in your mind. Like in your mind, you have to say no to those things. And it's not easy. It's not easy to say no to the things that you've been doing habitually over and over again. Like when you want to start waking up early in the morning, you would have to say no to the mind that wants to stay in bed. It's so easy for you to stay in bed because that's what you've been doing. Now you're trying to tell your brain and your body to do something completely different when you've been staying in bed for an extra 10-15 minutes after the alarm went off for the past 4 or 5 years. So what are you trying to say now? Like, no, you have to be, this is where you're demanding your brain and your body to do something completely different that they are not used to. Your mind is going to test your boundaries. It's going to be like, all right, okay, instead of staying in bed for extra 15 minutes, let's stay in bed for an extra 5 and we'll get up after that 5. But you don't want to negotiate. You shouldn't, because if you negotiate, your brain will continue to negotiate after you get to that negotiation point. So you'll get to the point where the 5 minutes come, like another 3. And you give into that. You have to know when to say no, and it has to be the very first time. And that's where you win the first battle. That's how you win the first battle of the war. Those little battles of, I don't feel like getting up right now. I don't feel like making my bed right now. I don't feel like going to work right now. All of those little things that you take a long time doing or may inhibit you from growing is going to be the small battles you have to win in order to then win the war. And the reason why I speak on this type of topic is because I myself am currently going through that, like warring with myself, implementing more positive, healthy habits in my life. My biggest battles right now is my battle on food and healthy eating is basically what I'm saying. I have an addiction to sweets. I have an affinity to ice cream and cookies. And those two combination is not always the greatest. It's not, and I can almost indulge too much on those things. So it wars with the other things that I want to do. It contends with the other things that I want to do because I also am working out. But in order for me to work out efficiently and effectively, I have to be fueling my body with the right type of food source, the right type of nutrition, right? I should be fueling my body not with junk like cookies all the time. Like, yes, I'm also eating protein and carbs and everything, but I'm also adding all of this non-energy fuel or nutrition to my body. So what am I doing with it but just adding fat to my body that now I have to burn when I'm working out? It's counterintuitive. So I have to win that big battle. It's a big battle in my life because it then inhibits a lot of other parts of my life. And I have to win that battle. You know, what big battles are you facing or are you undergoing? Comment that down below. Is there a big battle or are there smaller battles that you're facing, like getting to work on time? That's another battle. Like that could be a small battle, like your boss is like tracking you on it, like, hey, I've noticed that you've been late for the last 2 weeks. It's so many different little battles, like reading more, instead of scrolling on your phone. It could be implementing working out. getting healthy, implementing fitness, implementing going outside and running more, or just walking outside for an additional 5 to 10 minutes. You would be surprised at how much people don't do those things that can contribute to their overall happiness. Those things have been proven to contribute to your overall happiness. Working out, getting fresh air, walking amongst like nature, all of that is proven to increase your happiness, and yet we do very little of it, and then we complain about how very little happiness we do have. And so we don't implement those things into our lives because we have a lot of bad habits that we need to demolish in our lives. We have to just extinguish these bad habits in order for our lives to be more productive and for us to feel more energized, more happy, and more fulfilled and grateful and accomplished. All of the above. And that requires you to war with yourself. It requires you to go at war. And I want you to think of it as an actual war, because that's what it is. You have to put your foot down. You have to create boundaries, and it becomes a ripple effect. When you win the smaller battles, you gain momentum, and then you start tackling big battles, and then you start tackling battles that you didn't even know. Because first of all, remember, you are battling against yourself. That's one. But you're also battling against parts of yourself that you may not even be familiar with, because you have not taken the time to really truly understand and get to know who you are. So you are possibly attacking, or you are possibly defending, because if you are warring with yourself, you are on the attack and defense of yourself. Again, everything gains momentum. And when you do something over and over again, because we are habitual creatures, that's what we become used to. So if these bad habits were implemented in childhood, like say you grew up in a neglectful parent household, and I don't want to say like it's extremely neglectful. There's always scales and levels to this, right? Maybe your parents worked a lot and they just didn't spend enough time with you and like asked you how your day was. You had to be the one who was independently relying on yourself to get yourself up from bed to get to school. And at that age, at 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, you cannot responsibly rely on a 12-year-old to wake themselves up every morning at the time that they're supposed to. So now they're developing, like most of the time, 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds are not going to wake themselves up at the time that they need to. They get to bed pretty late, or they get to school at least 10, 15 minutes after the time they're supposed to. And as you continue those habits, starting from that young age, it's very hard to break that after that. It's really hard to break that, especially if you still don't have the guidance that's supposed to guide you to do something better. So you're gonna continue to do what you're not supposed to until it hits you in a way where it is detrimental to your livelihood. Or where you get to this point where you're watching a video like this and you have to learn, like, I have to war with myself. I have to go to war with myself. First of all, what would you name that war? Would it be a great war? Because some people don't have big wars to fight. Some people don't have much to overcome. Others have big, big, big wars. Others have big things. They're fighting so much more. They're fighting so much more. It could be things that they are dealing with family-wise, friendship-wise. Internally, the things that you have to deal with, that's all war. Learning like who you are as a person. Are you a people pleaser? Are you a manipulator? Are you somebody who actually uses people? Are you somebody who actually is a little bit more deceitful than you thought you were? Like you use lies to escape accountability. And even though you don't like to lie or you don't want to lie, it's scarier to take accountability. It's scarier to be the blame of somebody's hurt or pain. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to be the blame. So you instead, lie. Those are other things that you would be going to war with on yourself. That's a unique battle, as a matter of fact, because you have to approach that battle with strategy. When it comes to war, you have to approach war with strategy. You're not just gonna like charge in and go in. Like, it's never gonna work that way, right? You're gonna die. Your front line's gonna die. Your back line's gonna die because your front line died. And I don't know the logistics of war. I just know that you need a strategy, you need a plan, and you cannot just go into war like blindly with no plan. So that's where you have to lay it out. What do you want in life? What it is that you want to change, what it is that you see in yourself that you realize is coming up in your life in a negative way that you need to go to war with yourself on. And this is where, okay, these are the non-negotiables. This is where you're talking to yourself. You're writing to yourself and saying, this is the non-negotiables. Here, this is what it is. I actually literally did that to myself in the mirror. Like, I'm talking to myself like I'm another person. I was dead serious because I'm like, you're doing things and you are conscious that you're doing it, and it's detrimental to who you are. It's detrimental to you. And if you want to live this happy and fulfilled life that you so want, then you have to do things different that is going to make you happy and fulfilled. And in order for you to do that, you got to say no to the things that you want to say yes to, because the things that you've been saying yes to, guess what? It has been bringing you hell. It's been bringing you the sorrow that you so want to be freed from. So you have to make that decision of, what do I say no to? What do I put my foot down on? What battle am I winning today? And that's where you have to like make that decision. That's where things get real. And you find out who you really are. After those wars, you find out who you really are. Did you win the war? Did you lose? And now, after winning the war, what kind of person have you become? After losing the war, have you learned lessons? Like, that is the point. War is big. War is nothing that you take lightly. To say no to yourself, to win those battles, is hard for some people, because some people are very deep in their shit. They're very deep in their shit. I want you to think of your mind as the government. Somebody's in charge. I don't know who that is, but they're not doing the best job right now. Okay? They're not doing the best job. You want to overthrow that person. So now you need a new leader. You need a new leader. You need somebody who's going to be strong, who's going to have integrity, who's going to have principles, and who's going to stick to their boundaries, who's going to stick to their word. You can trust this person. And this is the person who is the representative of your mind. This is who I'm talking about. The dictator of your mind right now is the person who you want to listen to. This is the person who you want to dictate what happens in your life. Not the person who has been doing a very trashy job at the moment. Like, they've been doing a really trashy job. Okay? You need to find a leader in your mind that is going to lead you to victory. That's how you have to look at it. Who's leading your mind right now? How are they leading you? Where are you in life? Are you feeling fulfilled? Do you feel successful? Do you feel satisfied? If you don't, there are some things that you need to change. And it doesn't mean that it always has to be outside things that need to change. Sometimes it could be inside things that need to be changed. Maybe you need to find more gratitude in the things that's around you. Maybe you need to like look around you and see like you actually have more than you thought. So I would say, win one battle at a time. It's not going to be easy to win all the battles all at once every single time. Sometimes you have to revisit a battlefield. Sometimes when the battle was lost the first time, you have another chance. Every day you have another chance to win another battle. You lost the first one. All right, so I didn't wake up at 5:30 like I said. I woke up at 6:30 this time. Or I woke up at 7:30 this time. I lost the battle. All right. Next day, battle is restarted. Do I wake up at 5:30 or do I wake up at 7:30? Do I wake up at 6:30? Okay, I have a strategy plan. My strategy plan is to go to bed at a reasonable time. In order for me to do that, I have to make sure that I get everything I want done at this time. So I want to make sure that I get everything that I want done at 7:30, no later than. So that when I want to go to bed, I can go to bed at 8:30 to 9:30. I can fit in reading or watching my favorite TV show and then go to bed at 9:30. And now my strategy plan is in place, hoping that I'm going to win the battle in the morning. And in the morning, because I laid out my strategy plan, and if I went according to plan, then I am waking up at 5:30, because that is 8 hours of sleep. And that is the ideal time. That is what I want. That is when I want to wake up, and that's when I'll feel, fulfilled. I won the battle. That is how you have to look at it. And that's what I mean by warring with yourself. Today, this was a big one. If you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to like and subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you guys.